could have another bedroom. One could be 20 years newer than the one right next door. One could have a pool, right? There's so many things that can be different. But if you're looking at a 1/4 acre lot that has no trees on it and it's just a flat, empty lot in Florida,
no
and
flood
you see
zone,
one, no flood zone, and you see one 3 lots
no
over,
turtles.
Yeah,
and this one just sold for 40,000, and you get this one at 30, you can most likely sell yours for 40,000 because the other one is exactly the same. There's no extra bathrooms, there's no extra bedrooms, there's no pool. It's all exactly the same.
Yeah.
And a lot of people compare house flipping and house wholesaling and all that stuff to what we're doing. And I don't think it's even in the same ballpark as a business model. I think we're more similar to like a drop shipping store where you get someone to buy a t-shirt for $20 and you get it for $10 and you make 10 in the middle, right? Like that's more of what we're doing than house flipping itself, right? And there's so many different variables like you mentioned, and you could get a property and it has termites in it and it has the roof didn't come back as good as you thought. And even though the inspection report didn't have this electrical issue, the foundation's wrong. And a lot of people lose money on houses and stuff like that. So I completely agree, and we don't touch houses. We won't even.
And we've done one or two just because it fell in our lap and we're good at wholesaling, but it was a nightmare compared to land. And then another beautiful thing about land, which I love and why we got into this business model to begin with, is when you're selling a wholesale house, right? When you have a property under contract, you're selling to a flipper that's buying what you had some experience buying 2 to 4 houses a year, typically a flipper. They're cash strapped because they have to invest themselves. When you're selling to a D.R. Horton, they're a multi-billion-dollar company buying 30,000 lots a year.
You can
rinse and repeat and sell these deals over and over again and do 10, 20 deals a month with one builder, rinse and repeat in the same areas, compared to with a house, it's one and done. You're not going to repeatedly sell to that builder.
Someone
over and
lives
over.
there. So like if we were getting a deal and I send a deal to a builder on email right now, he might say, okay, I'm going to go drive the lot. I'll let you know in 15 minutes. If I was selling a house to somebody and I'm in Texas and they're in Florida and I have a seller at 200K and a buyer at 250, they're going to meet in the house. What are the odds they go and meet at the house and don't talk about the price and cut you out in 2 seconds? Right. Or get upset or something goes wrong. Then someone has to move out of the house. So then you're making someone move out of the house, get movers, they move.
Then they're going to do inspections and try to talk you down.
It's just a model that I completely avoid. The one thing I will do is, which is luxury, which is something we've got into a little more recently, is tear downs, right? Because when I'm looking at a tear down, which a tear down, to explain that, is if it's a beautiful property that you could build a $10-20 million house on the water in a
it's like a low supply neighborhood, right?
Like you could build a $15 million house on this lot, but the house that's on it right now was built 70 years ago and it's 1,000 square feet, right? So when you buy the house from that person that might have paid $100,000 for it, you can give them $3 million because you're just going to bulldoze the house and build a luxury home, right? So, but again, when you're doing that, you're just looking at it as land value. You're not looking at it as a home.
Now, even though there are a lot fewer variables on land versus homes, surely there's been some times when you lock something up under contract and then you realize, oh crap.
Oh, it happens often.
Like we didn't realize X, Y, and Z. Like this thing's coming into town. Tell me some stories about that happening.
Yeah, so we've never lost necessarily because we could just back out.
Because of how your model is.
So we can just send a termination email the way that our contract is structured and then back out.
So what are some things to look out for?
Wetlands. So like you can see this on the aerial.
It's not a flood zone, but wetlands?
Wetlands. So it would mean, so, and you can see this from the aerial, is the trees on it will look gray on Zillow. And if the trees are green, it's fine. If the trees are gray, it means that it's flooded, the trees are dead because there's water there. So it might cost literally a couple $100,000 to fill in the dirt, right? So Bonita Springs, this is where we got the lot for 165. Wetlands report came back 40% clean. If it came back 100% clean, so we sold it for 275. We would have sold it for 600 if it was 100% clean. The lot next door, I got under contract for 145. We couldn't sell that lot because it was 100% wetlands. So the lots range from $135 or $90,000 to $600,000 based on a simple survey because of the like side by side it could be, right? Just based on how much water is on this property. So
and then like some of the properties in Arkansas have slope, so you can only build if they're 10-foot setback on the slope, or if it's 100-foot setback, whatever it is. The slope can differ a lot, and it can range from being worth $5,000 up to $25,000 in that area.
Utilities, right? So you could either build well septic if there's no utilities, or if there's utilities or water sewer connection, then it's going to be worth a lot more. You can check this on the county appraisers.
If there's a seawall, it's worth about $20,000 to $30,000 more.
Seawall if it's on the water. What else kind of affects value?
Trees, but it's only a couple grand.
Basically
about water rights or mineral rights.
We've never done too much with that, to be honest.
Or like well depth.
Yeah, I never a huge perk test is a big one.
Yeah.
Right.
In North Carolina, it's a big one.
Yeah. To like see if it's buildable. And it's state by state dependent, right? And like everybody watching this, like it probably sounds like a foreign language, some of these words we're saying. We have no idea. Like if I did a new state tomorrow, I would learn new words. But we got into a market the other day and like scrub jays, right? What's a scrub jay? It's a protected bird in this area, right? So you learn all this as you go, and you just basically just call the city and say, what does this mean? How do I get a report for it? So it's all very simple stuff. But and this is also very seldom, right? Like maybe 5% of the properties have an issue with it, or a power line running through it. A big thing else that builders don't want is main roads, right? Like nobody wants to live on a street that's on a highway, right? So like they don't want main roads. Of course, wildlife, slope, wetlands, utilities help.
But again, the beauty of it is because we talk to the builder first, they tell you a lot of these things beforehand.
Right.
I mean, I'm looking at land right now, and I wanted to research if I could put in a well, and there's a public directory, state mandated, of all the wells in Texas. Is it an oil well? Is it a wastewater? Whatever. And I noticed in my area there were no wells. And in asking Claude and everything, it was like the aquifer was 1,000 feet down, but then 5 miles south, everyone had a well.
Really?
Because the aquifer was 40 feet down. So it's like little nuances like that there actually are tools for most of the time, but you have to know about them and like which tools to look for. I like your like gray and green tree example. What other kind of hacks or tricks like that do you look for that doesn't require sophisticated tools?
Here's a big one so there's a website called True People Search, and you can put in an address and it'll show you who the owner is.
White pages.
Yeah, exactly. So if we get a deal, even if I have a builder, the first thing I do is I call the neighboring houses, right? Because the most annoying thing is a homeowner. You're driving over nailed. You do not want new construction next door. So I always call the next door neighbor. Hey, I just want to give you the courtesy. I am planning on selling this to a home builder, the lot right next door to you. Right? A lot of times this person lives out of the state. They've never been able to reach them. They just know there's a lot next door, right? I always like to call the neighbor as a courtesy in case you want to extend your yard, put a pool back there.
See if they're an interested buyer.
Exactly. And they pay over market
value. They'll pay
value.
retail,
And the thing about the neighbors is it depends if they have the cash or not, but they will always make an offer. Sometimes it's way below what you have it at, but it's always worth.
Because you don't want new construction's loud. You're driving over nails. Like, so a lot of times they like the yard there for parking, whatever it may be, right? So, and like if the land is relatively cheap, like they'll take a second mortgage out. Like it actually has real value to them. So we sell a lot of deals to the next door neighbor.
It's interesting you say that they'll pay more because I'm living proof of this. So I live on 2 acres, and there's a 1 acre lot behind me, and I live on a road, and then there's a road behind me on that 1 acre lot. And so that lot faces that road south. My lot faces north. And I always wanted to put a road through the entire property that connected, like my road that connected the road in front of me to the road behind me. And finally, the guy behind me puts up his 1 acre lot for sale that had a warehouse on it for $470,000. And it sat for over a year because this were like 400 max. And it had a mobile home on it. There was just a lot of hair on it. And it sat and sat and sat. And I talked to him and he wouldn't budge at all because he wasn't motivated. He's like, he just wanted to see. And finally I was like, 470.
Wow.
Like I overpaid, and I knew I overpaid, but I don't regret it at all. I knew what I was doing. I own it now. I own the whole strip. I have my own road.
Because you have real value for it, right? Like you're not just putting a spec on.
No one else would pay him that.
Exactly. So that's like every single time neighbor. And then when the deal closes, we try to go ahead and get referrals. Is anyone else you need?
So we made a lot of money off of this, which it's technically free. So what we would do is when we had a deal close, we would have our executive assistant. She would handwrite a thank you letter to them and say, hey, if you had a good experience with us, if you refer a family member or a friend to sell their property with us and we get a deal done, we'll send you $1,000 in cash.
As like a joint venture deal with them.
So we did about 28 or 29 deals like that last year just off the referral deals.
See, that's what people get wrong about referrals is they're stingy with it. It's like, I'll give you a $50 Amazon gift card. But you just said the value of your deal is $8,600.
Exactly.
So $1,000 is like, it still gives you enough meat on the bone. And
it's meaningful. And the way we look at it too is that's just $7,600 in profit. That doesn't come out of our pocket. When the deal closes, we pay them $1,000. We didn't actually have to pay that.
Right. What other kind of hacks like that, like tools or ways of looking at Google Maps or?
The biggest thing I can say is just to be consistent, really. Like it really is simple, right? Like it's just you're finding a builder and then you're finding someone to sell for less and you're connecting the two with the contracts. I would just say the biggest thing is being consistent with it every single day. And the majority of people that are stick to it and they are consistent and they get the experience. Once you get to that first deal, it's the same process every single time over and over again, right? So that's basically it, right? It's just staying consistent with it. It's the same thing as everything, right? Like you're able to grow this podcast so big because you're doing multiple podcasts a week. You're doing it like you get better as you go, right? It's the same thing with this, right? So just,
and a lot of people are just scared to start because they're scared to make cold calls or they don't want to put themselves out there or start to do it. But That's the reason why they'll fail. If they just started doing it, think of if you made 50 cold calls a day for a year, how much better you would be at it a year later. And then all of a sudden you're an expert and you can talk to these sellers and you know what you're doing and you know what price to offer and you know what to talk about in the area. And it's like, you didn't just learn that or nothing magic happened. You're not using a magic website. You just put yourself in this situation for a year and now you're an expert. But it just is from doing it.
Right.
You know, as far as cold calls go, like I'm introverted. I hate cold calls. When I started one of my bigger businesses, we sold wholesale iPhone parts.
Okay.
And we did millions of dollars and I never made one cold call. I outsourced it to 3 virtual assistants in the Philippines. And it worked.
Yeah.
I'm sure it would have worked better if I did it myself, but I didn't want to.
Yeah.
But in the, you know, I've done real estate for a long time and I spent 3 years doing it full time. And I made a lot of cold calls during those years. And I noticed that those cold calls were a lot less intimidating because you're not actually like, you're selling them on the idea of selling their home or to the builder of buying a lot from you. But literally, you're not selling to them.
Yeah.
You're trying to give them money.
100%. And a lot of people have a misconception of, because with wholesale houses, I know you got to build rapport and you have a 20, 30-minute conversation. Our conversations with these sellers are no longer than 90 to 120 seconds. Typically, we get on the phone. It's a numbers game. We're just in and out. If they want the price, great. We're going to have a quick conversation, make an offer, move on to the next. Like how a call would go is if I'm calling you right now, I would say, hey, Chris, this is Carson. You just spoke to my assistant. I'm interested in purchasing your property, 123 Southwest Street. You're going to say, oh, you know, like how much do you want to pay? I saw you wanted 20,000. I can actually give you 16,500 and I'll cover the closing fees. They're either going to say, oh, come on, can you do 18? Can you do 19? Or they're going to say, no, that's too much. I say, all right, no worries. Save my number, write it down. If you're ever interested in selling, that's where I'm at. Have a good day. That's the whole call. Like he's had calls. He likes to get them to sign on the phone, Jackson. I typically let him wait for the night or I get him to sign the next day. He likes to get him to sign right on the phone. He will have a call where he calls a seller for the first time, speaks to them for the first time, and has a contract signed within 5 minutes.
First touch point.
First touch point to contract signed.
That is the one thing that's
so these conversations are not as hard as people think.
That's one more piece of game. I will say that this has made us at this point probably over $1 million is every call from the beginning. If we did not agree on price, I would say, you know what, say my name, Jackson Land Guy. And if you need to sell for whatever reason, if you need cash, I will be able to close in 2 weeks. Whenever I go, my price, tomorrow's price might not be today's price, but I'm always buying land. Save my number as Jackson Land Guy, right? I did 100 cold calls a day for 3 years, right? Like that's 100,000, whatever it may be. Like they
trickle in,
and it's just like every single day you're just casting a fishing line out, right? And eventually you're going to start to catch fish, right? We have made so many deals from that. And when they come back 6 months later, it's not the price you offered them. It's name your price because they're calling for a reason, right? So that's one piece, and that's free to do, right? No one really does that. It's just like they get upset if they don't accept their offer. They hang out.
Yeah, or like I said, they go with that other approach and piss the person off. It's like you're not going to have a connection, and they're not going to come back and want to work with you if you're not being polite to them.
Right.
So you might not know this, but this isn't my real channel. My full channel is linked below or right here. Go check that out for full episodes.